on December 7th, I wake up that morning, and I had to take an exam that morning. So, I mean, it was, a normal day other than the fact that I had to take an exam, which means that normally I would have been at work or driving to work.
I called the company to cancel his exam, and I'm on the phone talking with him, and he's like yelling at me. He's like, could you get back in here? Like, I'm not feeling good.
It just kind of felt like she was gone forever, and it was probably only a minute, but everything just kind of seemed to start slowing down for me. And
I actually got like a little annoyed with him. He's like, I'm trying to do what you wanted me to, and you kind of act a little bit like a baby. So I kind of got off the phone real quick and went back to him.
I remember looking at a phone or something. I remember 7:34 in the morning.
And then all of a sudden he went into kind of a seizure for a couple seconds and then just completely unconscious.
The morning of December 7th, it was actually, my shift was coming to an end, and I was about to be relieved, and we were toned out for a difficulty breathing call.
I ran downstairs to unlock the door for the paramedics to make sure they could get in, and the 911 operator instructed me to start CPR.
I made my way up the stairs, and I could hear the dispatcher giving instructions to Ruth as she was giving chest compressions to Dustin.
Steve came in first, and he had me continue compressions for just a couple seconds while he was setting up.
The importance of keeping Dustin's brain alive with the oxygen that was already in his blood at the time was the most important thing that we could do for him.
You've got a lot of people that are battling with traumatic brain injury. I mean, there's not that many that come out of it without any problems whatsoever.
One of the most memorable things when we got to the hospital was when the doctor, Dr. Madam, was taking over care of Dustin, testing his neurological response, tapped him between the eyes, and I remembered, I'll never forget, Dustin opened his eyes and looked over at me. I know he doesn't remember that, but the doctor's immediate response was, he is neurologically intact.
I am so thankful for my wife to be there, when it first happened. I'm thankful that, she called 911, and 911 was, very clear or very able to explain to her what to do.
I absolutely have to credit Ruth's ability to take action when it must have been the most horrific experience to have her husband cease living, literally, in front of her eyes, to have the wherewithal to do exactly what was necessary to make sure that Dustin had the best chance of survival was amazing and remarkable. And I want to make sure that, and I know Dustin knows, and we keep talking about the importance of that. I want Ruth to know how important that was, and that made all of the difference in Dustin's survival.
I'm so thankful that the fire department and Steve that showed up, with his vast knowledge that he has, obviously with doing compressions and CPR, or the new methods of resuscitation that I'm learning. That I'm just learning about now because of this. I'm so thankful that he was the one that showed up. I just feel like the outcome would probably have been so much different.
One of the greatest gifts that we could have been given was to know that Dustin was able to go home to his young family and spend Christmas with his family, and just to be a small part of that process was an absolute blessing.